This is me, Anil Polsani, and we're gonna start the training from January month 2021 with the course P as 9500. Okay, hello guys, hello friends, hello my followers. Very good day. This is our next video, and this is my first video for a lot of the other requesters who want to know or learn or refresh IMS database. So we will see some concepts. I have noted down the couple of concepts here that we can come up with some knowledge today. Let's start. Let's see what's that first point. What I wrote here is introduction to Mainframe database. Like now, this is very simple point to know. Remember, mainframe is a computer. Okay, it's not a software. If you are thinking it's a software, if you are thinking it is a server, then you are wrong. Mainframe is a computer, just like our laptop, but assume it is 1,000 times bigger, more like business applicable computers, not based on our personal related part. Anyway, so when I said mainframe is a computer, I also need to say that it is used to process huge amount of data. Of course, I should make more reframing the statement. This is used to store and process huge amount of data. Now, so if I want to, if I want to store, what happens? Want to store the data in mainframe, there are two places. Okay, there are two places where we can store the data. One being the file system, one being the database system. Now, whenever I say file system, this is an inbuilt system. The mainframe comes up with this system. Here we have again three types. Okay, there are multiple types, but the varieties of types we use in project is very much limited. So let me use only three types here. One of the type is the VSAM, sequence, which will be like your PS file. Okay, the PS file whatever you are using till today is one of the category falls under VSAM. And you know VSAM as well. Yes, most people know this VSAM as well, which highly we use is KSDS. We do have other clusters which are not commonly used. Okay, in my 10 years or 11 years experience so far, what I have, not much than KSDS cluster. Other clusters are not much used. Now, what is the third variety here? Third variety is called GSAM. This is related to IMS. That's why I have to make a note of this file system and come back to this GSAM. Okay, we will see more on this GSAM part when we come back more in details into IMS videos. But as of now, assume it's like PS, but not PS. Okay, but not PS. So we have three types of file systems: VSAM, VSAM, and GSAM. The one what you are using so far is PS files, or maybe some projects they use KSDS. Now coming to database, again if you say that DB2 is the only database, then again you are not having enough experience in mainframe world. There are multiple databases, but they all come under three categories, three types. One I would say is network structure, which is basically IDMS. Very old, okay, still old database, and very few projects, very countable projects are there in our place, where some companies they have for this particular database particularly. Of course, we don't want that. Then we have the IMS. Okay, this is this is hierarchical structure, and this is what the example IMS. There are good number of projects. Okay, nowadays there are good number of projects that deal with IMS. Third one is what we seen in other videos, that is DB2. Yeah, come on, relational database, and this is your DB2. This is present in almost all projects. Now let's highlight the IMS and DB2 together. Let's highlight IMS and DB together because these both are the product of IBM. Okay, IBM has both the database, they own both the databases. What point you need to know here, mostly some people know, very few people know, I say, some doesn't know it. IBM's first database is IMS. This is their first database, what IBM has invented or discovered or coded. And guess what is the second database? Obviously, database 2. That is nothing but what we call DB2. DB2 is nothing but the second database of IBM. That's why it has given a name as DB2. What is the reason of giving a number 2? When there are a lot of, you can try, okay, IBM could have tried that DB1, but database 1 is already occupied by IMS. That's why the second database what they invented renamed it as DB2. Now let's highlight DB2, more highlight the IMS part. So when I want to introduce yourself to the IMS is like a inverted or simply a tree structure or a root structure. Okay, these are of two types again. IMS is again of two types. One is what we call IMS-DB and two what we call it as IMS-DC. Again, there are two types of IMS that you will hear in your project or working experience. One is the DB, another is DC. Whenever I say a DB, it is the place where we store the data, and DC is the way to communicate the data. In a simple way, this is actually IMS is an online application. Now, let me come back with some of the tricky example or tricky comparison. CICS. A lot of people heard about it. A lot of people know much about CICS. Very few people know actually what is real CICS, how to use that. But anyway, CICS, most people say it's an online application. Yes, maybe. But actually, to be frank, it is a DB-DC system as well. DB is to store and DC is to communicate. The CICS, what most of the projects they use only this one, DC part. We don't use CICS to store data, we use only CICS for communication. Whereas IMS is again a DB-DC system as well, but the plus or the highlight of here is we use database to store and as well as to communicate. Okay, because in CICS you may have BMS screens, but here we'll have MSF screens. Okay, same little bit different in terminology, but again let's not drag into a lot of points. I just want to introduce, okay, if your project is IMS and you don't know anything, then this video will help you. If you don't have any knowledge also, this video will help you. So first understand, you are talking about one more database where you can store and organize your data for easy and faster retrieval. In that, one of the database is IMS, which we categorize into two types, DB and DC. Whatever the application you have, whether it is a batch application or an online application, your data will be in DB only. Your data will be here only. But if you have an application that is related to online, that means screens are used, some online screens are used, and that screens get the data from backend of IMS. Then you are involved in DC as well. Small changes are required, but not the entire concept. Everything that you need is in DB only. That's it. Okay, that's it. I want to ask everybody that seeing a COBOL program, how can you tell if what type of program it is? What type of program it is? Okay, maybe my question is not clear, but let me give some example. I have only COBOL program, but again I can categorize into main program and subprogram. I may have a file program here. So how do you distinguish and how would you tell that this is a file program? I may have a COBOL DB2 program, then how do you tell this is related to a program that is having database? And similarly, IMS and a COBOL CICS. These are the types of COBOL what I am talking to you. So COBOL with files, let me put it in a separate sideways like this. So if you have only COBOL program, we can categorize again them to main and sub. Then you have COBOL with file, COBOL with DB2, COBOL with IMS, COBOL with CICS. So while looking at any COBOL program, how can you tell that what type is your program? How do you tell that it is a main program? Okay, how do you tell that it's a main program? If you say that using call statement, okay, if the program has a call statement, then it is a main program. Yes, that is one of the answer, but also think that A can call B and B can call C. That means you can't say B is a main program. Okay, it is also a subprogram. It is also a subprogram. So only call statement cannot justify this is a main program. The justification is done in a different way. Option 1 I can say, which is executed by JCL. Yes, if it is a main program, obviously you need to mention some step 1 exit program equal to some main program name only. You cannot execute subprogram. You cannot execute B through JCL. Okay, A is calling B, B is calling C, doesn't make B as main program. Okay, you cannot execute B from here. So if it is a main program, definitely it will be called from your JCL like this. I'm again pointing to only batch jobs. Okay, online jobs, there is a different way to point out. Second thing, if it is a subprogram, how do you know? Okay, open your program. Okay, I just gave you one program to analysis. Now when you open the program, how do you know that is a subprogram? Of course, first option to check here is linkage section. Okay, but linkage section is not the only one that can justify you. Also see the procedure division line. Also see the procedure division line. And of course, if somebody is like very pressure level of coding, he tries to use exit program. There are other ways you can justify them. Okay. Now, how do you know if it is a file program? Open a program and tell me that this is a file used or not. Okay, given a program to you, I ask you that whether this program is using files or not. Environment division, that's the first thing, and that's the only thing that you can check and confirm whether there are files involved or not. Table, then exen, SQL, IMS. Now this is what we are interested today. Looking at your COBOL program, how do you know that that is an IMS program or not? Okay, people who join the projects, people who are already working in the projects, people who want to join the projects. These are very important points to know which program you are working on, which database your application or project is using. The training that you got outside from an institute or an individual like me is very lesser to compare to your real work. Okay, if you are keeping a non-experienced resume, like if you are keeping 3+ experience, 4+ or 5+, remember the work is same for everybody. The only thing is expecting the fastness in working. If I give a task to a fresher, I would expect he would complete in 10 days. Same task if I give to an experienced 3 years experienced person, I would expect to him to complete in 3 or 4 days only, not 10 days. So when you keep your experience, know the simple tricks, understand type of the program so that you can analyze them quickly. So if it is an IMS program, how do you know it? So here there are multiple points. First point is linkage section again. In the linkage section, you will see something called a term called PCB. Very common terminology. It's more of any project they use this word PCB. Same thing in the procedure division as well. You will have a using clause with a lot of PCBs again. If these both are not going to satisfy you, in your program run a find command to find COBOL to DLI. This is another keyword which is required in all your COBOL IMS programs. Again, I'm telling you, knowing a program of IMS, these are the things that you need to check. Whether your linkage section has something called PCB, or your procedure division has something called PCB, or you're having a program with this particular keyword in it, then yes, your program is an IMS program. Again, CICS, how do you know it is a CICS? Exact CICS. These are pretty nice and simple clarification of knowing our program. So once you know your program is an IMS program, then it doesn't complete there. IMS has three types of programs again. One we call MPP programs, one we call DLI programs, and the third one what we call is BMP programs. Now you may get frustrated or you may get confused. Yeah, these many points are there in IMS, but believe me, really believe me, learning DB2 is far hard compared to IMS. If I want to take an interview in DB2, I have thousands of questions, including variations of select queries that I can ask you. But in IMS, the concepts are very dry, but very limited. Easy, very easy actually, compared to DB2. Compared to DB2, your IMS skills are very easy to develop. Of course, IMS-DB only. This is again tricky part. Again, this is a tricky part. So we'll keep our understanding for this video that IMS is little easier than DB2. Okay. If you are getting an interview call for IMS, you can learn that in a week only. If you are getting an interview call for DB2, it will take 10 days. But we are not going to deal all them. Understand, whenever I say MPP, it is purely online program. And when I say DLI, this is purely a batch program. And when I say BMP, it's both. How come it's both? That's the trick which I won't disclose now. But yes, in your programs, you will have one MPP program, one BMP program, and one DLI type of program. We will talk about this more in detail. But if you want to work on IMS, then there are things that you should be learning first. Terminology points. First word that you should be learning is DBD. Second, PSB. Third, PCB. These three are the ones which you should be knowing. There are ACB and other things also. I don't want to confuse you in that case again. Understand, these are the prime terminologies that you should be learning in IMS to understand them. DBD is your physical structure. Physical structure. Now this DBD contains segments. Segment contains fields. Okay. Now how do you understand this part? How do you understand this part? So assume your fields as your DB2 columns. Okay, the fields are your columns and segments are nothing but your tables. In your DB2, data is stored in tables. In DBDs or in IMS, the data is stored in segments. Collection of segments, okay, collection of segments is nothing but your DBD. Collection of segments is nothing but a DBD. Each DBD will contain multiples of segments. There is a limit as well, but anyway, it contains segment. Segment contains fields. If you want to get data, you need to go and talk to segment. If you want to put some data, you need to tell to the segment only. For example, I have an organization database. In that, I have one organization segment. Within this organization segment, I have a client segment and the employee segment. Within this client segment, again, I will create a second level structure which contains the project segments. That means there are projects of clients. The clients are set into one particular organization, and here the salary details if I want to keep. For example, I am working in so and so company. Okay, let's say I'm working in IBM company. I'm not working in IBM, just giving an example that IBM has a lot of clients. Okay, IBM has Amex as one of the topmost client. It has some projects of some card maintaining or billing systems. This is the details what the project segment will be having. What all the IBM clients are there, that will be in one segment. For each client, what all the projects are there in, it will be stored in your project segment. Similarly, IBM has employee details and their salary details as well. Same way, you may have somewhere like TCS organization. For that, TCS has some government application projects, some other project A, project B, like this. This is called hierarchical structure, where the organization structure or segment is called a root segment, the top one, 0 level. And here these two are called child as well as parent, because if you see here, for organization segment, client and employee behaves as a child, but for a client segment, it is a parent for project and employee is again a parent for salary. These two pillows comes under child. They are not having any other dependencies. They don't have any nearby dependent segments. Segment A, B, C, D and E. Each is like a table which contains fields like client ID, client name, client account number, client yearly budget amount, all those things. Here project ID, project number, number of resource, everything. Employee details, you know his salary details, you can put here. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 segments completely referred as organization database. Organization database. Similarly, the particular project will have multiple databases. In our project, okay, which is an automobile project, earlier old project, automobile projects, we maintain something of ordered segments which contains all the order details. It's not segment, DB. Similarly, we have another database called product database, which contains all the details of the product what we are selling. Then the buyer, that means the dealers, who all the dealers are there, who are the one who actually purchasing this one. Like this, individual DBs are there. Individual DBs are there. Again, in order database, in product database and in dealer database, you will have multiple segments. Okay, like product database will tell you what is the location of this product manufacturing, what is the price segment, what is the inventory segment, how much of quantity this product is there. Like that, IMS starts with a word DBD. Okay, you need to write a program there. It's not like a create SQL query that you can create a DBD straight. You need to write a proper coding for creating a DBD, mentioning the segment names, mentioning the field names, also mentioning the relationship, which one is parent, which one is child, like that. You just need to mention parent is 0, parent is client segment, for this parent is employee, like that. You need to write a proper code to create a DBD first. Okay, once your DBD is created, which is already there, okay, when you are working in a IMS project, these DBDs, the structures are created way back 20 to 30 years back only. Okay, 20 to 30 years back only these DBDs are created. So your requirement or your any scenario may not ask you to create a new database. So forget about this part. Assume that database is already existing. Okay, DBD is already existing. Now what you need to do? PSB. This is your logical structure. This is physical structure I told. This is logical structure I'm telling. Now the purpose is used to access the segments by program. Now assume PSB, okay, assume PSB is like a view of a DB2 part. What is the purpose of a view in DB2? A logical structure of an existing table for security purpose or some other purpose. Here in IMS, if you want to interact with any of the database, it has to go through PSB only, because PSB provides the access to segments that can be used in a COBOL IMS program. Okay, you can limit also. If your database has 5 segments, you can create one PSB of that database with only one segment only. Other 4 will be not able to access by the program. Remember, PSB is very important to access the DBD. Without a PSB, you cannot access a DBD. Even through manually tools also, you need this PSB. Okay, PSB tells you what database, what segments, what fields you can access. Without a PSB, the DBD is a locked room. You cannot go inside that. If you have a PSB, it tells you, okay, a PSB tells you that which database, which segment, which fields you are interested. Okay. Now, PSB on a second level, you can say PSB is collection of, PSB is a collection of PCBs. Okay, PSB is a collection of PCBs. PCB is what exactly? This is to tell what segment, fields can be accessed by the program. Okay, so using these PCBs, you will tell, you may have requirement to deal with one order database and product database. So in PCBs, okay, you will be having one for order, one for PCB, for one more product database. These two will have 2 PCBs, combine them, create one PSB. That means whichever program is using this PSB can access order database and product database and the segments that has been listed. Okay, only when you have a proper PSB with all required segments and everything in the PCBs, then only you will be able to access the DBD database and the data in it. Okay, let me okay, let's pass to 30 minutes, near to 30 minutes. So I'll wind up the story here. Again, I'm telling you, IMS is another DB-DC system where you can store and communicate for batch and online. Now, if you want to learn IMS, okay, if you want to learn IMS, first you need to know the terminology of DBD. Then about what is DBD. Then go back and check what is PSBs and PCBs. Okay, these 2 points what you need to know to start understanding a IMS program. Without these words, without this knowledge, if you see a COBOL IMS program, even though it is very easy to know, even though it is very easy to learn, you will never understand anything of that, how the program is executing, how the system is maintaining the data communication. Okay, again we'll come back. Okay, I will come back with more on IMS videos subsequently in a random way. If you are a fresher, I'm telling you again, most of the people, they call me, but when I hear their stories, when I heard them, I really understand that the training what you are getting outside is very, very far from experienced training. It's more like fresher training, which is good. But if you are looking for an experienced resume, please do practice lot of technical concepts. Okay, do practice technical concepts. And again, as usual, I would really thank all my subscribers, and I really welcome all the new subscribers as well. More subscriptions, more videos, less subscription, delayed video. Okay, you will have a video, but you will be having a delay. Today my mainframe isn't working, so I got a time to discuss about IMS. Next video we will plan which one. which one we should plan? COBOL, JCL, DB2, CICS, or IMS? Few people ask tools. Okay, again, I'm really sorry. Tools I cannot upload in a YouTube channel because tools are in the client system. Okay, I cannot show you a tool class in a YouTube channel. Okay, yes, definitely if you need training, then you can come to me for tool training, whichever I'm able to show you. I can train, we can discuss on that. But yes, if you are waiting for tools videos, please do not wait. There is a limitation where we can show the mainframe, where we cannot disclose the real client mainframes. So mostly we don't show anything to anyone, but still, if you're expecting tools, then I'm really sorry. But yes, if you need any video, and last time I asked, okay, how to resolve a space array. Okay, if people you are not knowing this question, please go and see the append video. In that this question is there. If you have not seen that video, please really see, because that is one of the common interview question as well. And I asked how do you resolve an space append, and I also told that if you are telling to increase the space, I will ask you how much space. Second question here is, after you increase and rerun, the job again appended. The job appended again. So what you will do? What you will do? I got already few answers on WhatsApp, but not the right answers. Okay, I'm still waiting for that right answer. I know you thought me to give an answer here, but yeah, I'll keep this answer in some other video. This is like already past 32 minutes. I want to keep the video short and informative, so less time, more details, not you see hours of videos to know something simple one. So I want you to reply on this again. Okay, I'm getting direct answers, but I would request you to comment it so that some other also know the answer. Don't send only to me in WhatsApp. My contact details are in this video as the first slide, and you will find my contact details in the link of the description. Go to the link. You will find plenty of mainframe related documents, including this IMS part, including this IMS. All the documents are free to download. All the documents are very informative, but again, not for the people who doesn't know mainframe. Really, I'm telling you, those recordings, these classes, the BPTs what I have, all are not for people who doesn't have mainframe knowledge. Only the person who has a mainframe knowledge, who have seen it or who have learned it already from somewhere, can understand these videos. And if you think there are a lot of points that you are not knowing already, if you are completed your training but you don't know all these points, then again I would say you are also far away from mainframe part. So that's it. Please do subscribe if you are listening to these videos. If you are already here till now, please do subscribe to the channel, and we will see in the next video. Bye bye. This is me, Anil Polsani, and we're gonna start the training from January month 2021 with the course fee as 9,500.